Hey, Santanas. My name's Mrs. Pedrosa, and I'm one of the administrators here on campus. And I have a couple friends with me, so I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about them. Mr. Hanson?
Hi, Santanas. I am Mr. Hanson. I've been teaching at Santiago since the mid 1990s, and I teach in the electives area, having focused primarily on music classes, but I've also done the yearbook and some of the computer classes and a number of things through the years. And I'm happy to be a part of this little team that's going to give you some things to think about and hopefully some answers to your questions as we look forward to this upcoming school year.
Awesome. Ms. Patel?
Hey, Santanas. I'm Miss Patel, and I have the absolute best job at Santiago. So I get to be your school counselor. I have been here for about 10 years, just helping students with all kinds of issues, whether it's with friends or at home or grades or anything. I just get to be a support to students. So we're so excited to meet you, and we welcome back all of our returning Santanas.
Great. So, Santanas, we want to take some time this morning today, whenever you're watching this, to go through our instructional models for the 2020-2021 school year. And I want to assure you that we had a detailed, comprehensive plan to bring Santanas back onto campus safely. And the governor, a couple of Fridays ago, has set some requirements and recommendations for criteria in putting kids on campus. And unfortunately, as a county, we don't meet those criteria yet. So although we have a detailed plan to bring our students back onto campus, we will be starting this school year virtually. So we will be in what we're calling phase one. That being said, I want to let you know that nonetheless, whether we are on campus or we are face-to-face, we are doing whatever we can to create a unique and exciting middle school experience, what we call the Santiago or Santana experience, because this is a really crucial time for our students. And we want to make sure that regardless of whether they're in person or on campus, in person or virtual, which we now know they're virtual, that this is going to be an exciting time for them. And this is going to be an opportunity for them to really grow as students and as people. So our instructional calendar for our phase one is different than what our neighboring district and or Orange Unified School District is doing. So I want to take a second to show you our different instructional models that we have for the upcoming school year. First and foremost, if you're familiar with Orange Unified's phase one, phase two, and phase three, we are consistent with those. As Orange Unified rolls into phase two or phase three, you'll see seamlessly that Santiago follows. Although we are an independent charter school within the school district, it's important because our families have students at multiple schools that we stay consistent with not only our terminology, but also our opportunities for students. So we are starting, as I have said, in phase one. That is what the governor's guidance has provided for us, which means that we are starting the 2020-2021 school year virtually. Some of you may ask, how do we get to phase two? How do I get my kids on campus? How do we do that? Once the county has been off of the state monitoring list for 14 days consecutively, schools and school districts are then able to meet with their local health department and build a plan to bring kids back onto campus. We're excited because the plan that we have in phase one translates very easily to phase two. So when we are given the clearance by the county and by the state to open, which hopefully is soon, but we know it's not the beginning of the year, when we do get that clearance, it will be a seamless transition for our students. I want you to know real quick that we are really focused on building an exceptional phase one because we know that that's where we're starting. Phase two planning, you'll have plenty of time to give input and to help with the planning process, but that won't happen until after the school year starts. We want all of our focus and all of our energy to be put into building an exceptional virtual learning experience for our students. So although phase two is on everybody's mind because we don't know if students are coming back and when they're coming back, we really want to save that planning for when we have a little bit more guidance from the state, and we want to make it exceptional for the beginning of the year for our Santanas. Phase 1 is, as we said, where we're starting the school year. It's 100% virtual learning. This is all students are going to be engaged in daily synchronous online instruction. Synchronous means that it's an opportunity for the student and the teacher or the class to engage live in this kind of a platform. In addition to the daily synchronous live instruction, students will also be responsible for asynchronous course expectations. That's work done outside of the live instruction, formerly known as homework. So a couple of details of our virtual learning plan is that students will have a daily PE activity equal to about 45 minutes. The good thing about the PE activity is it's flexible to your day. So your student can do and complete the PE activity at a variety of points in the day. Additionally, students will have a blocked schedule core 4. The core 4 are English, math, science, and history, and students will be going to those classes in a blocked schedule Monday through Thursday. So for example, if your student attends English and history on Monday, they will attend math and science on Tuesday, English and history on Wednesday, I'm forgetting my days, math and science then again on Thursday. So we really believe in the consistency of academic classes, especially because a lot of students haven't been live on campus since last March, that we are going to have students attending our academic classes every other day throughout the weeks that we're virtual. Students with our core 4 will be assigned in either the AM time slot or the PM time slot. And they're going to be assigned for our virtual learning environment by course need. So depending on what course they need is going to differentiate whether they are assigned the AM or the PM. More to come on how that's going to be differentiated. And then our Fridays. Fridays, students will have an advisory virtual check-in that's mandatory, and then they'll have an opportunity to go to teacher office hours if they need support in any of their classes. In addition, and this is a really important one, is that in addition to the traditional live academic core classes and your PE obligation, students have the option to take our electives. Now, there are a lot of reasons why students come to Santiago and come from Santiago from all over the county. One of the reasons why they come to Santiago is because under traditional circumstances, we have 22 electives that we offer. Super unique opportunities and really rare for a middle school to have that many opportunities for students. Unfortunately, in a virtual environment, we can't offer all 22. We can offer as many as we can offer, but students have the option of taking electives. So when the elective registration form comes out, we would encourage you and your student to sign up kind of as quickly as you can with the electives that you want, because they are going to be on a seat capacity basis. So students have to take their core 4, they have to take PE, and then the electives are going to be optional. Now, although this next slide can be a little overwhelming, stick with me. This is a sample schedule of what your students will have for the virtual learning in Phase 1. Students will be assigned based on their need, either the AM core or the PM core. In the AM core, students will have 2 academic live courses a day. So period 1, let's say it's English, would be at 9 o'clock. Period 2 would be, let's say it's history, would be at 10 o'clock. And then on Tuesday, those students would go to their periods 3 and 4, let's say math and science, and they're going to be alternating days. So every week, students will have 2 opportunities to have live instruction in their core 4. Additionally, they have those daily activities for PE, and then your optional electives will be sitting in the 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock time slots. Different electives will be on different days, and as we roll out elective registration, you'll be able to look at that and pick. Then again on Friday, students will have that advisory check-in that's mandatory, and then they'll also have your optional office hours should you need support. For your PM core, the only thing that's different is that the core classes are going to be at 1 o'clock and then at 2 o'clock every day. So we are assigning in the virtual world either the AM core or PM core based on need, but there'll be some preferences that come into play when we are able to bring kids back onto campus for phase 2. Please note that in your planning, students should be prepared to spend a minimum of 240 minutes daily on school. Now, they'll have 120 minutes of academic live instruction. They'll have PE minutes, they'll have potential elective minutes, and then they're still going to have homework. So as they're planning their day and trying to strategize what their days look like and how they're helping families and that sort of thing, please know that their obligation to school is going to be totaling at least 240 minutes a day. So that's going to be a combination of their live classes as well as homework as they're starting to plan. Having said that, this is a lot of information, and it's different from other districts and other schools. And so I know, Mr. H, that we've had a ton of questions come in about this. So that being said, can you be our MC for our question session?
MC, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Orange, California. No, I do have a series of questions that have come in, and I would be happy to kind of shepherd us through this. And the first thing, actually, Ms. Patel, maybe you could address this for us. Folks are wanting to know, when is registration?
Yes, so I think Mrs. Pedrosa briefly touched upon this. Registration will be one day for each grade level. So 7th graders will have registration on Friday, August 7th. And 8th graders, your registration day will be Monday, August 10th. So times and all that will be to be determined. So please be checking your email and watch out for a phone call from us as well for more details.
Okay, thank you. And actually, I'll take this next one myself. It says, how do we choose electives? Well, there will be a pre-registration form coming out to you later this week. Excuse me. And at that time, your student will be able to see which electives are being offered during which time slot on which day. And based on availability of number of seats for each elective, they will make their choice. And that will be happening before next Tuesday. We'll want the responses back by Tuesday. We hope to get the choices out to you by Thursday of this week. And seats are filled on a first come, first served basis. So you may want to get those reservations, if you will, in as soon as possible. And Ms. Pedrosa, can you tell us, how will I, as a parent, know my student's exact schedule? I mean, I see the A and the B and the left and the right and the in and the out. When do I find out when my student is coming to school and what they're learning when?
That's a great question. So obviously their schedules in phase 1 are going to look different than they would when we have the opportunity to come back in phase 2. So we're just worried today about phase 1 and what their schedule looks like. When you come through registration, which I'm calling the welcome party, because we really are, we don't see students much these days, so we really are excited to meet students and families. When the welcome party, our registration date happens, you'll receive your exact schedule and where your student will log on for each class and when. So by either August 7th, if you're a 7th grade family, or August 10th, if you're an 8th grade family, you will have your students' exact schedule in a little folder of fun on that day.
Okay, I look forward to the folder of fun.
You like that, huh?
Yeah. Ms. Patel, what if a parent, we've had a number who have called in and asked, what if I want my student to stay 100% online? It's not worth it to me. I don't want to even consider phase 2, phase 3. I don't want my student to come on campus this year at all. I want them to stay 100% online all year. Is that an option that I can choose?
Yes, absolutely. Regardless of which phase we're in, we will be, throughout the whole school year, we will be offering a full 100% online independent study program. As we know, as you mentioned, we have families that have unique needs, whether it's health issues or just feeling safe or sports or actors, actresses, anything like that. We will definitely be offering that 100% virtual online program with our Santiago teachers.
Okay. And Ms. Pedrosa, am I correct that students will be assigned AM core or PM core? Just if I could get a quick yes or no on that, is that correct?
That's a yes. So students will be assigned an AM core or a PM core based on course needs. That being said, if you are a family that has extenuating circumstances, we always work with our families and students. And if there's something that just does not work for you or you have a unique situation, please communicate that to us, and we will do what we can to help accommodate those families that have specialized needs.
Okay. And if my student or if a student is assigned to the AM core, but for some reason this particular day, he or she can't attend that AM core, can they go, since the same classes will be offered in the afternoon, can they go to the afternoon core, or if they're assigned to afternoon, could they go to the morning on an exception basis like that?
Do you want to take that one, Ms. Patel?
Sure, yes. So unfortunately, that will not work, as our PM classes will be different than our AM classes for the day. As well as I wanted to point out that we were a little bit flexible in the spring with our attendance and grading policies and things like that. So we are going to be very strict, as we would normally do in a traditional school year, with our attendance and grading, which means that it is super important if a student is not able to make the session, or if they miss a session, that they communicate with their teachers as soon as possible as to how to make that session up. It may be a recording of a session or some other time. However, as I said, attendance counts, grades count. We will go to a traditional A through F grading scale, as well as, it's super important that students are attending classes every day at their scheduled time. They are on time. There will be consequences for that as well. So super important. Don't just kind of go to another class. It doesn't quite work like that. So please be in communication with your teacher as soon as possible if you miss a session.
Okay, great. Thank you. And concerns have come in about the electives and choice of electives and how they will affect academic grades. How will they affect a GPA? And first place, no student will be penalized for not taking electives. Although we pride ourselves on our electives and we think your student will get the best education if they take advantage. Research has told us that these 2 years are the exploratory years. And this is an opportunity to try a little of this, try a little of that. And so we encourage your students to take as many of our electives as they would like, and as will fit in their schedule, obviously. But if they don't take those electives, there will be no penalty in terms of grades. If they do take the electives, obviously they'll be graded on an academic basis like every other class, A, B, C, D, F. And I would point out to you that is the grading system for all of Santiago for this year. It's strict traditional academic grids, A, B, C, D, F, and attendance is a part of that. But in terms of electives, if you choose an elective, it'll be included in your GPA. If you don't choose an elective, your GPA will be determined by your core, or basically the classes that you do take. So, Ms. Pedrosa, about this PE thing, how will the school be monitoring participation in that? I mean, how do you know whether the kid's doing what they're supposed to do, or do I as a parent have to monitor that, or what's the story on that?
That's a great question. So PE instruction or PE activities will be assigned on a daily basis to equal about 45 minutes of an activity. Students will then be reporting their completion of that activity either via survey or send in a quiz, answer a quiz about their activity, or they'll be doing something to turn in their progress and confirm with their PE teacher that they have accomplished that activity for the day. When you look at a student's schedule, they will be assigned a specific PE teacher. And so as parents, you can ask your student if they've completed the activity for the day. You also, if you're concerned and it's been a few days, you can have the student then email the teacher to make sure that they're getting the information and the confirmation. So you'll have a PE teacher and there will be the accountability on a daily basis.
And as a part of that, could we assume that PE will also be issuing an academic grade and that will be determined by how well a student is doing on getting in their 45 minutes and doing the requested activities?
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, one of the things that Santiago is known for, we talked about all the electives, but we like to think that we've had a program that meets a wide spectrum of needs. And in this online environment, will there be limits on that, or are we still going to be offering the full spectrum of academic support? Ms. Pedroza, maybe you could answer that one.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Will the English course or math course that my student needs still be available in this virtual world? And the answer is yes. As we are scheduling students and we are being super strategic about every single schedule, we are putting students into cohorts so that they can take the class they need. That can be everything from a 7th grade supported math class all the way up to sophomore level math 2. So we have support classes, enrichment classes, traditional classes. We are making a concerted effort to make sure that the students' needs academically are met in the classes that we are assigning them. Thus, kind of the lack of flexibility in the AM PM thing in the virtual world.
Great. And reflecting back on a comment there or an answer that I gave earlier, and also dealing with this same issue, the full spectrum of offerings. We do need for parents to understand that the full, I believe it was 22 electives we had last year, will probably not be available in the online environment, in the virtual learning environment. But we are going to strive to have as many of them as possible in the online environment. And you'll still have lots and lots of electives to select from. So unless either of you have anything else, I guess kind of a final question here is, what if I have more questions? As a parent, I listened to your thing. I went to the thing you did online. I got all the answers, but I still have questions. What do I do?
Yeah, and as a fellow parent, I feel you. I empathize with the questions because we're a lot of us are in the same boat. And what I can tell you is something that we pride ourselves on at Santiago is building relationships with families and supporting families on an individual basis. And when I say families, it's not just the student in front of us; it's the family. When you come to Santiago, you're part of us, and we're going to help. And so if you have questions, which we assume you probably do, and or concerns, there's a couple of things that you can do to get those kind of answered and to get that stress or anxiety about this upcoming year kind of mitigated, because we want it to be an exciting time for our students. So those options are: one, we're going to be rolling out some parent information sessions, more to come on dates and time, that will give you an opportunity to log in and ask questions about our virtual learning platform and what it's going to look like. Two, you can email pretty much anybody at Santiago, and you will get a response. We are in the office now working from 8 to 3 until actually for the rest of the time, because we'll be here in the office. Or you can call. Our number is on the school website, and you can call us and we will be able to answer your questions. At the end of the day, we don't want anybody feeling uneasy about being a part of Santiago, because this is an exceptional school and we're so honored to have all of our families and our students. And I'm so excited for the welcome parade, aka registration, because we get to see kids and that's what this is about. So Mr. H, there's a lot of options. If parents are uneasy, they can do the parent night, or the parent session, they can email, they can call. There's a lot of things, but we want to be able to ease that anxiety the best that we can.
Great. And so with that, parents, I think I'll bring this session to a close. We want to thank you for listening and paying attention. And as Ms. Pedrosa said, we know you may still have more questions. Please feel free to answer them. But know that this is Santiago Charter Middle School. And we have a standard of excellence from which we have not veered for decades. And we're not going to let COVID or anything else slow us down. We look forward to a great school year, starting virtually and ending sometime in some way. Blessings to all of you and your families. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. Thanks, Santanas. Bye.
Bye, Santana.
Bye.